welcome to another episode of Talking with JM. And today I have a very special guest, Mrs. Lynn Anoai. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you, it should get an A+ because you would be a true pro wrestling fan. But I have her here to discuss something else that's more important to her, something that she's been working on for some time now, and the lady most responsible. For those who haven't realized, over at my YouTube channel, I do have a bit of a mini documentary about the legacy of the Anoai family. If you haven't checked out already, I encourage you to do so. But here is my special guest, Mrs. Lynn Anoai. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Mike. Thank you. So happy to be with you. And to all our listeners, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time. I know you are a very extremely busy woman, and I was delighted to hear that you were interested in sitting down and having a quick talk to basically share with the world what you've been up to personally, and basically have a message for everyone. So what can't Mrs. Lynn Anoai do? You know, a wife, a mother, a TV producer, a director, a book author, a VP of one of the top 10 pro wrestling training schools in the country, certified life coach, and founder of Our Loss to Gain, a life-inspiring, motivating way to feel confident and driven to make life changes. So tell us all about that.
Thank you. And please call me Lynn, okay? And it'll just be easier for you. And yes, I'm very approachable, so call me Lynn.
Okay.
So I will start with the I Lost to Gain and then go back just a little bit and touch on the other things that you talked about.
Okay.
But so some years ago, I was not very healthy. I was very overweight for my body frame. And I was just feeling sick, and so was Vale, my daughter, and we just decided it is time to stand up and make a change and do something, because if we don't, we're not going to be here very long. And, you know, people would look at us and say, oh, but you're so beautiful, you have a great smile, you look so happy. Mm-hmm. Me, personally, I looked that way because I was drinking a lot. I was drinking wine because it was helping me to sleep at night. It was helping me to deal with the physical pain that was in my body. Mm-hmm. You know, I started out very young, healthy, strong, physically fit, and then all of a sudden, I was 198 pounds. Where it came from, I don't know. I just woke up one day and boom, there I was. And I was working and trying to, you know, deal with all the things that you mentioned in life, and I just found myself slowing down. I found myself getting sick. I was run down. I was tired. My body was aching. I was becoming depressed, but I didn't know it. And I would go to bed at 8 o'clock at night and lay down and put my arms under my weight because the pain throughout my body was so bad. And so I went to a doctor one day. I had a broken foot and didn't know it was broken. I was walking on it. It was a stress fracture. And it was my weight actually breaking my body. I mean, literally breaking me down. So I wore a boot. And for 6 weeks, I wobbled, you know, on my feet. And as I was doing that, I actually cracked the other side from the imbalance of the weight again. So I had to lose a month of work, a month of my life to be off my feet, only get up to literally shower and use the restroom so that my feet can heal. And then the doctor said, okay, you need to do something. And so I got scared. You know, I was starting to take medication. I was taking cholesterol medication. My blood pressure was getting in whack, and it was time. So Vale, on the other side, she was the face of WXW Wrestling. She was doing the commentary and the hosting and the interviews and things. And one day we had upgraded our equipment, and we got high-definition cameras. And she saw herself on camera and lost it. Aww. And she said, oh, my God, am I really that big? Yeah. Now, keep in mind, we're both, you know, I'm just a little bit taller, but I'm 5'5". Vale's about 5'3", 5'4", and we were carrying 200 pounds. And it was like, whoa, something needs to be done. So we decided we needed to make a change in our life. And that's how I Lost to Gain was born. We did our research, and we had no help from doctors or, you know, I actually had 2 doctors that I was seeing through my job. And one doctor said, maybe you should make a salad. Maybe you should, you know, try to balance yourself a little bit. The other doctor said, get your act together before you die. That's the doctor I needed to hear from. I needed someone to make me accountable for myself, for my actions, for what I was doing to myself. So she said, go home and count your calories and tell me what you're eating. And I said to her, "You're not taking me serious. I'm ill. I have a thyroid condition. There's something wrong with me." And she looked at me and she said, "You know what's wrong with you? Your mouth." Well, I was highly offended.
Wow.
And she said, "Stop putting food in it and write down what you're eating." And I said, "Fine, I'll do your stupid exercise for 3 days, but I'll tell you right now, I'm barely eating." Well, Mike, let me tell you what I did. I sat down for 5 minutes, and I started writing just my breakfast and my lunch, and I said, holy crap. By the time I got to dinner, I was eating 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, but what do I eat? Nothing. Well, I was eating carbs and fat and calories. Just to give you an example, I would sit down in the evenings and I would do paperwork for the Walsman Training Center and WXW Wrestling, and I would just grab some cookies, little itty-bitty cookies, 8 to 10 Oreo cookies, which I didn't know were 70 calories a piece.
Wow.
And I had them on a napkin, and that was the only time I drank water, because I didn't drink milk, and I hated water, so I was a soda drinker, which is another story. But anyway, I had my 8 to 10 cookies, not knowing that I was doing about, 700 calories of fat and crap at night before I went to bed. And so this is the lifestyle I was living. So then I became accountable. I wrote it down. I went back to the doctor with my tail between my legs, and I said, here. And she said, good. Now that you know what's wrong with you, now fix it. It's very easy. Fix it. And I said, okay, it's easy for you, So Vale and I went home, and we started thinking, what can we do? How many calories do we have to eat? What food do we have to eat? What can we do? We work in a special needs school. How can we start drinking bottles of water? We're going to pee every 30 seconds. That's a good thing for your body. It's a bad thing when you're taking care of people and you can't just run to the bathroom. What are we going to do? So we really had to get in check and take care of ourselves. And we did. And when we started to sit down and decide, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to trick our bodies. Our bodies are a clock. I didn't know this. I have all the answers to the test. I want to give it to everybody. I want to give it to everybody listening. It's a free exam. All you have to do is listen and follow. And so I always tell everyone, if you have medical health conditions, see a doctor, find out if you can work on your diet and exercise program the way you need to. Don't do what I do. Don't do what I did. I'm telling my story. I'm not saying you should do it, but I'm saying you should take control of what's causing you to be at the weight you're at. So for me, it was just poor eating, poor choices, and doing whatever I felt like whenever I wanted to. Well, we can't go through life like that. We have to have discipline. We have to have control. So Vale and I learned, Vale is a researcher, and we learned together that your body is a clock. So if you eat breakfast at the same time every day, and a snack, and your lunch, and a snack, and your dinner, you will lose weight. But in the beginning, your body's going to panic. Your body's going to say, uh-oh, I'm starving. Let me hold on to this weight. So you have to teach your body that this is my new normal. And so we decided, we're cutting out the soda. Now, I originally was a heavy soda drinker, and then I switched from regular to diet. I gained 15 pounds when I did that. I went from sugar to chemicals and salts. And so, boom, here I am now. I'm fat. I'm drinking this soda. My body feels horrible. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and all these little things. Yeah. Well, as soon as I gave up soda, the first 2 weeks of wanting to commit murder and, dealing with that addiction of giving up that caffeine, once I did that, guess what? The pain went away. The aches and pains started to go away. So this fibromyalgia was not. It was chemical poison that I was putting into my body. It was like crazy. So I started to drink water. I hated water, but I started drinking it. Now I drink about 13 bottles of water a day.
Wow.
Easy. Drink it. Yeah, I love it. I can't live without my water. And, these are just the little things that I started to do. Well, it took me 1 month to lose 5 pounds. I was quitting. I was at the edge of my ledge, and I said, I'm done. If I don't lose any weight by tomorrow, the heck with it. I'm going back to eating. I miss cake, candy, cookies, and all the stuff that I'm not eating. I woke up the next day, 5 pounds gone. And it was like, okay, it took me, because I was an older person, that much time to lose just 5 pounds 1 month. but I lost it the right way. I didn't lose 15 pounds in a week and gain back weight. I didn't lose, all this weight and start losing my hair and getting sick and winding up in the hospital. I lost the weight the way my body needed to lose it. And once I started losing it, it just melted off me. So when I started losing the weight, it was September of 2014. In January of 2015, I went from 198 to 160 pounds.
Wow.
And then from there to that summer, the rest of the weight just melted off. And all I did was get up the same time every day, eat the same amount of food. Your body doesn't really know what you're eating. It just knows the amount of calories. So for an example, I would go to the gym, and when I went to the gym, I would wear, my sweatpants and my long shirts because I was very self-conscious and ashamed of myself. I was seeing these beautiful young girls, with the perfect bodies working out, and it was very intimidating for me. I had to learn how to put blinders on and look at the machines and not what the young girls were doing. There was nothing for my age group. There was nothing for the over 50 woman to have for a role model. There was nothing for me to make me feel good about myself. And I would cry myself to sleep, only in a different way. First, I cried myself to sleep because I was fat and I was uncomfortable and I was sick and I couldn't cut my toenails. I had to go into the bathroom and put my foot on the toilet to lean to my toes, and even then my belly was in the way. And these are the things that I didn't realize. And I make fun of myself a lot because I want people to know that you have to have humor when you're doing this. You can't be serious all the time, And as the weight came off and as I started to feel good about myself, then I was told by people, you will never tighten up. Good for you. Congratulations. You lost 83 pounds, but you're going to have that loose, flabby skin. You're going to have those, pick up your arm and it's going to wave at you. You're going to have that. And I said, really? You can challenge me now. Okay, great. So I started working out hard, and I have a very full schedule, and I tell everybody all the time, I get up in the morning at 6 a.m. I get out the door between 6:30 and 6:45. I drive an hour to work. I do 9 hours, drive an hour home, stop at the Wall Sloan Training Center. I do dinner. I, do everything that everybody else does outside of having all these careers, and still go to the gym at 8 o'clock at night. Instead of going home and going to bed like I used to, I go to the gym. And when I'm not at the gym, I'm walking. And I started a walking club, and I've been going to different places and working with different people that are in the same situation that I'm in. I do seminars, I do workshops, I do all these things because I want people to feel as good as I feel. I'm not charging people. Everything I do is free. I'm just doing it because I want people to know it doesn't matter if you're young, if you're old. You could be a young kid who's, having a problem with your weight. You can be an older person, my age or older, or, a younger person in their 20s and 30s and 40s that are struggling with weight and energy and all of those things. And you can get healthy and be the best person that you can be in your body. We have physical conditions, we have illnesses and things that will never be corrected or changed, but the weight will definitely make a difference. And so that's the message of how I Lost to Gain started. But now how my song came into play, I lost the weight. And I felt great, and people were complimenting me. And a couple of my biggest things that made me feel good about myself was I always wanted to wear white pants with a black shirt. And I could do that when I was 200 pounds, but I wanted to look good in it. And so that was like one of my things. I wanted to walk up to a store, and when you're walking up to like a store and you see the glass and you see yourself in there, and I was like, felt like I was walking into the circus, and I was looking at the trick mirrors. I saw this big person walking back, and I wanted to see one person and not three in that mirror. I wanted to just feel good. I wanted to jump up off the floor like I used to when I was in my 20s. I wanted to have that energy to do things, and it wasn't that I was vain and just wanted to look hot and sexy. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to feel good about myself, and I wanted to be around for a really long time and not take medication. And so one of the exercises that I had to do was I needed to get all of the feelings out of my body. Because, when you go from being 198 pounds to being 115 pounds, now I'm looking in the mirror and I'm seeing this other woman, and I'm hearing people tell me, oh, you're too skinny. First I was too fat, now I'm too skinny. So now I'm starting to get this reverse mental issue where I was not attractive and good enough when I was fat. Now I'm too skinny at 115 pounds. So now I start believing this instead of realizing that, wait, the people that are saying this to me, they're the ones with the problem, not me. I'm the one who is doing something to take charge of my life.
Right.
So I started working with, one of the blessings of being at the Wild Swan Training Center is I have a whole host of wrestlers that some of them are bodybuilders, some of them are nutritionists. I had at my disposal men and women that wanted to help me. I had guys that pulled cake out of my hand. I had guys that went to the gym with me and worked out with me and said to me, stop walking into the gym wearing these long shirts down to your knees, put on a pair of clothes and go work out, and don't worry about what these other young people are doing around you. Worry about what you're doing. Be accountable for yourself. Right. And I started to grow that confidence, but still I had that mental block where I wasn't good enough. I wasn't, looking good or feeling good or healthy and whatever. So finally, I talked to someone. I talked to a psychologist. And the psychologist said to me, you carry so much worry and so much guilt and so much inside you. You need to take this out of you. One of the things I want you to do is go home and get a journal and just write down everything you feel inside you, all the hurt, all the anger, all the things that you blame yourself for, whatever it is inside you that made you go from being the way you were to the way you became. Put all that in writing and do something about it, and then when you're done, burn it. And once you do that exercise, you'll feel good about yourself. You'll feel cleansed. So I did. I wrote it out. And I was actually in the car with Vale and her fiance, Julio. We were on our way to her dancing program. And I said, Vale, I wrote this, and I can't burn it. I feel like this is a message that God has placed inside me to put out there so that other people can know how I feel. And Vale read it and she goes, Mom, this is good. And I said, yeah, I want to make a song out of it, and she said, well, let's do it. So she took my words. I run on. I have run-on sentences and really bad grammar. And she said, let me just tweak it a little bit. Let me fix a couple of things, and let's make this into a song. And then we went to the only person that we knew that could make this the way it needed to come out, and that was WXW's Jason Simpson of Jay Simpson Music. And we went to Jay, and I said, Jay, you got to take this and you got to make it into something. So he looked at it and he goes, what kind of song are we going to make this into? And so Molly just started singing it, and she gave her this. He just was playing music behind her, and I just started sobbing, and I'm like, oh my God, there it is. My words, my everything is coming out, and these two are making it and they're making it relevant, and they're making it into this amazing song, this testimony to everything that I have done. So there the song was born. And I have it out there on iTunes, and I just want people to hear it. I just want people to know that I carry the same guilt and shame and all of the feelings and emotions that people carry inside them. And why I say guilt, because I blamed myself. I allowed myself from being this, physically fit, young girl of 110 pounds my whole life to becoming 200 pounds. I allowed that. And you could say, well, you've been through a hard time. Everybody goes through things in life, whatever. But, yeah, I allowed it. And then I was killing myself slowly. So I had to take control. And I had to deal with that. And so that's where I Lost to Gain really saved me. And when I started telling my story, people started reaching out to me. Thank you for sharing this. I wasn't sharing it because I wanted a pat on the back or, I was creating a business. I was sharing it because I know what I felt like, and I wanted to give other people, men, women, opportunity to realize, if you take control of your life, you can do anything. And so I Lost to Gain was created, and it's just amazing. I do walking clubs, I do seminars, I do speeches, I do anything that I feel, little videos that can help other people. And the outpour of gratitude that come from people. Thank you for sharing that story, because we too felt that way. And I have days, Mike, let me tell you, I will put on an outfit. And I'll look in the mirror, or, I'll say to Vale, take my picture for Instagram, because I got to promote our Lost to Gain. And I will look at myself and say, oh my God, I look so fat. I look so bad. She's like, Mom, are you out of your mind? And I'm like, but that's what my mind is telling me. So it's a lifestyle. You constantly have to work to make yourself feel good about yourself. And, nobody can be your hero except you. And that's one of the things that I post a lot is be your own hero. Because anybody can tell you, oh, you're lovely, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that. But if you don't believe it in your heart and soul, it's just words coming out. And I don't worry, so much about like the numbers on the scale. And I tell people, because they're like, well, how much should I eat? How much should I weigh? That's on your body, on your health. Some people carry their weight differently, and they, their health issues are differently. For me, I found out 115 was way too thin for me. I did look very unhealthy because I was 198 pounds. Now I'm 115. Well, today I weigh over 130 pounds. But here's the thing. I'm still wearing the same size 5 that I was wearing when I was 115. And even though the scale has moved, and it's frightening as heck because you see the scale going up, what I wasn't realizing is, back to my story, the challenge that you'll never tighten up. I was actually tightening up. I was tightening up my legs and my arms. And then one day I said, I'm going to do something that is going to be the most uncomfortable thing that I have ever done in my life. And Vale's like, what is it, Mom? I said, well, you're going to help me. We're going to go outside, and I'm going to take a picture in a bathing suit. And I was in so much fear of doing that because I was like, at my age and losing all that weight and everything else, I wanted to show that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can feel good and look good about yourself. And so, with our crappy little cell phones, we went outside and she snapped this picture, which has blown up all over the internet, and it was like that. And I was holding my book. Our baby is here. And that was just to show that you can do it. You can go from being 200 pounds to recreating yourself and becoming physically fit. And so while I was doing that, that's when I said to Vale, I've always had this dream ever since I was in school to write a children's book. And when she was a little girl, I would tell her, I would make up these like crazy stories and just start telling them to her. And she loved my stories. And, then I said to her, I really want to write a book. And she looks at me and she goes, write a book. I'm like, I don't know how to write a book, so she said, just write. So I did, and she, of course, edited it. And I said, well, now I need illustrations. And so Vale's like, let me do the illustrations. And oh my gosh, what a wonderful thing. First we recreate our health together. Then we do this book together. In her whole life, she was born and raised in the wrestling industry. And this was something that we were doing outside of wrestling. Now, don't get me wrong, wrestling is our life. And that's how you and I met, like you said. You came to us and you wanted to do a project, and we have always supported young people's dreams and, any chance that we could to let people into our world, it was great. And, in the wrestling business, you meet so many people throughout your life. And Vale was blessed to be born and raised in it. And the girl is fearless and she can do anything. And her attitude is, well, Mom, if you want to do it, just do it. And so I did it, So now here I look back and it's like I recreated my health, which is my greatest gift. And then I decided it's time to become a life coach because I want to give back, the way that I was saved and healthy. I want to give that back to other people. And I always say, it's more than just weight loss. It's life-inspired motivation because you can lose the weight like I did and still feel bad about yourself. So it's an everyday process of not only eating clean and exercising and doing all those things for the physical part of you, but there's the mental part. It's the inside the psyche. You have to be able to get up and feel good. You have to like yourself. And those are the things that I find people are not liking themselves. People are living in that rat race of, I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then you forget that you are a person and an individual. And it doesn't matter, who your family is, how famous or not that they are. It doesn't matter, if you have a family or don't have a family. You have an identity, and you personally, as a person, need to live off of your identity. And so those are the things that I try to share. That it's more than weight loss. It's a life-inspired motivation. It's a way for you to tap into yourself and to appreciate yourself. And when you like you, how could you not like somebody who's happy and strong and healthy and willing to give a hand? And that's what my whole I Lost to Gain is about.
Wow. I mean, the story you just shared, I actually visualized almost everything you were describing and saying. And yeah, it's definitely, it's not over yet, but it was definitely a journey to get to where you are now. And I've seen, for personally, what I've seen in the past year or so, especially on your social media pages, some of those changes, and I was like, "Wow, this is Lynn." That was just my reaction. And you mentioned the bikini shot. Of course, why she had to still be a little bit shy. You mentioned you're holding your book, but it was up to your face, and the rest of you's on the beach, on the bench, I should say, by the pool. And as you mentioned, like one comment after another, and all the emojis showing, all positive ones, that is, of how much people were just blown away by what you have accomplished to this point. Getting yourself healthy again, and it's just amazing. And I know some people, I've known some people that are no longer in my lives anymore, but one excuse after another not to just try, and recently, for the past month or so, I'm trying to do something every day, whether it's at the gym or something at home, a light workout with those resistant bands or some free weights. I'm trying to do something, and between the month of November to December of late last year, I didn't realize that I lost 10 pounds. I was like, oh, okay, thank you, Scale. And I was like, are you sure that I had to go home? Because I weighed myself at the gym first, went home to try my electronic one, which is a little bit more accurate. Like, oh, wow, I did lose 10 pounds. Thank you, Scale. I mean, it's not a number I haven't seen in a while or ever, but yeah. So I had to change my diet as well. Definitely less sugars. I was a soda freak too, and trying to drink more of green teas and stuff, basically staying away from any sweets. And it's not easy, folks. I went one time, maybe about 5 months without it, but then I kind of fell off that wagon and just back to it. And I saw the results of that, and like, no, I can't have this, similar habits I would have at home, trying even to change my socks. I got this little gut in the way, and I feel uncomfortable. And it doesn't help a lot of times when some of your loved ones, aren't inspiring for you, instead of like, that shirt's too small or anything, or something like that. And it's not something that I need. So I basically just said, screw it. I'm doing it on my own without motivation from those I thought I would get it from. And
amen to that. And two things you said that I'm so glad you said, falling off the wagon. I'm probably my worst critic, and so about maybe 2 months ago, give or take, I was at the gym and I was working out and I was stressing and trying to keep up with my routine. And I went home, and the next day I was going to do a photo shoot. Yeah. And it was my very first real professional photo shoot. So I was like, a nervous wreck about it, and I wanted to look good, and I was preparing all my outfits and whatnot. And so I drive over to Tampa from the Orlando area, and I go and do this photo shoot. And when I got up that morning, I had a really bad headache. And I'm like, okay, I don't need this today. I'm taking a shower, and my back goes out. I get a muscle spasm. So now, go do the photo shoot. Nobody ever knew that I was in pain. Well, from that point on, for 3 weeks, I cannot tell you the pain that I was in. It was all down my neck, down my back, into my sciatica. I lost 3 weeks of going to the gym and walking. Could you imagine how hard I was to live with? I was like a lunatic because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even lay down. I couldn't stand up. It was horrible, and I beat myself up so bad for this. And then finally, when the pain went away, I said to myself, okay, first and foremost, I cannot make up those 3 weeks that I lost because I'll wind up in the hospital in traction. Yeah. I have to start out slow. And so when you fall off the wagon, yes, we're all going to fall off the wagon in life with everything. I had to convince myself that it was okay. 3 weeks gone out of my life, that's okay. I have plenty more to go, and I'm going to start over. And that's what I did. And then I started walking again, started getting myself back in the gym, you know. And so when you do fall off the wagon, my best advice to everyone is don't use it as an excuse. Well, all right, I fell off the wagon, so who cares? I'm just going back to the old life. No, write it down. I fell off the wagon on Monday at 3 o'clock. Now, Tuesday or Wednesday or Saturday, I'm getting back on track. And then get back on track. Keep a journal, whether it's in your phone or old-fashioned me that has a calendar in my car, and I check things off. Gym night, you know, and if I don't make it to the gym, then I put the sad face on there, but it's like, okay, I got to do something. Yeah. And then that goes back where you lost that weight. So I just had a conversation with one of the guys that I'm working with because I do private packages where I will work with you on diet, nutrition, motivation, all the different things that I do through I Lost the Game. And one of the things I was telling someone, a college student that has to sit 4 or 5 hours at night and do college, can't, you know, 2-3 times a week, can't get up and can't do the things he wants to do, go to the gym or exercise, whatever. So I just demonstrated. I said, look, grab a dumbbell and sit at your desk. Are you righty or lefty? He's like, I'm a righty. I said, okay, great. So when you're writing with the right hand, use the left hand to do the dumbbell and just do curls. And then when you're, you know, using the right hand to do curls, you just read. Do that time to read. Get the exercise in. Stay motivated. And then after about 40 minutes of sitting there, get up. And he goes, I can't get up. I still got 5 hours of school to do. I'm like, get up and drop and give me push-ups or give me 15, 20 squats, whatever. And then check it off on your little calendar next to you, and then get back on your computer and do the work. Right. When you're sitting there, lift your calves. Tighten your butt. Do whatever you got to do to stay moving. Because when you're sitting and you're doing all of this, and the blood's not circulating and all of that, then the aches and pains come in. Now, when those come in, now you don't feel good. You don't want to go exercise. That's the time you really have to exercise, is when you feel crappy, because you got to push yourself and see what your body can do for you. So, with all that being said, I too have days where I lose my motivation and I have to remind myself. And I post things like, here's a picture of me looking sad or looking, I know what's in my mind. And this is the motivator has to remind myself to motivate myself, And so my best advice to everyone is, like you said, if you're around people that don't motivate you, that don't support you, you don't need them in your life while you're going through this. Yeah, they're your loved ones, whatever. You can, socialize when you can, but you don't need them to support you, because they're not going to. And no matter what you do, they're not going to give you that support you need. So reach inside yourself and get it. Reach out to people like me and others that have been there and done that. I know what it feels like to have no confidence, to feel sick, to be tired. I know all of those things, to be embarrassed. I remember a time when I was invited to a family function and I sobbed my eyes out because I went through my closet and nothing fit. And then, when I finally went to go shopping, because I had to go shop and I didn't want to, because every time I shopped, I was a size bigger. And I know what that feels like, to try to squeeze into something. I know what it feels like to think you look good in something, but the clothes are too small. That's a horrible feeling. Yeah. So I don't judge people. I don't do this to make people feel bad. I make fun of myself, like I said earlier, because I have my good days and my bad days, just like everybody. So when you're trying to better your life, put the blinders on. Don't worry about the people around you, what they say or don't say. I had so many haters, Mike. When I started losing the weight, first I was told, you're fat. If you don't like the way you look, if you don't like the way you look naked, do something about it. You're fat, you're fat. So now I lose the weight. And then it's like, oh, look, you're skinny, ba-ba. Now, so it's like, wait, stop right there, and let me look at myself and say this. You guys are haters. I had people say, you're starving. You're not eating right. You're going to get sick. Well, I worked with a nutritionist after I lost the weight. I went to my doctor a year after I lost the weight. She didn't know who I was. This is the same doctor that said to me, you need to do something about your health and whatever. And I went in, and she's looking at me, and she's looking at my name, and she's trying to make the connection. So finally I said to her, you don't recognize me, do you? And she starts looking through my chart, and she goes, oh, my God, you are. And I said, yes, that's me. And she gave me a big hug, and she, did you have weight loss surgery? I said, no. I did, this the hard way, and I did what I had to do, and look at me now, and I'm keeping the weight off, and I feel great. Well, they went and got the nutritionist, and the nutritionist sat down with me, and I felt like I was in a courtroom.
Wow.
What did you eat? What did you do?
Under the hot light. Yeah, what happened? Tell me everything.
Yes. Well, guess what? When I got done with the nutritionist, she had nothing to say. They actually said they do a story with my daughter, and they whole story in the Lake County schools. Because it would make Lake County Schools medical clinic that we were able to go through. And they wrote this whole story about how we lost the weight, how we did it healthy, how we chose the right foods to eat, how we exercised, and how we kept it off. And the thing that I'm so proud of is this year is the beginning, well, actually September of this year will be 6 years since I've started and where I am, and I've kept the weight off.
Wow.
So I think I got it. I think I got the answer to the test. Now I want to give it out.
Right. Definitely. I mean, that's one long streak, and can't imagine anyone wanting to break such a streak. And like I said, you have your bad days, your bit of a off the wagon kind of days, but there are ways to make up for it later on. Not pushing yourself, as you mentioned. I lost 3 weeks. Now I got to do 2 or 3 times the amount of work at the gym or something like that. No, and you found solutions, trying to tell one of your students, which is something I wanted to ask. Was it a bit weird from your coworkers and you posted a few times on social media as well, that you're at work during the day and you got a little dumbbell on your side, and one side left hand, and you switching, and the other saying, all right, my break is over, time to go back to work. Was there ever a time where coworkers look at you and, what are you doing? Why is that here at the office?
I'll tell you, I'm very lucky. Where I work, my day job, the women that I work in a very small office, so very supportive of my health, and they know me. And when you walk in, you see there's a big bowl of candy. When that air conditioning goes on and the chocolate comes my way, but I've learned to, stay out of it. But the thing that's wonderful is, like, we sit all day. I mean, we're up and down, doing little things, but for the majority of the hours that I'm in that office, I'm sitting in the car and sitting, round trip 2 hours on my break, so there's the other hours. So, 12 hours a day I'm sitting. And I hate it because I want to go all the time. So I told my boss, I said, I hope you don't mind. I have a dumbbell here, and I use it. And she's like, no, go for it. And I do. And I sometimes I'm on the phone, and I'm with a difficult customer, and I'm actually pumping that dumbbell so hard that I'm trying not to crack the head with it, or I'll be sitting there, and my body starts to really ache because I'm at a computer all day. So I start doing, curls and over my head and whatever, and then I say, okay, I got to get up now, and then I just start walking around the office. I do laps around my office, and it's crazy, but I have to stay moving. They're great with it. They understand, and it's so true that my boss, when someone, they'll be, oh, like, you look so wonderful, and then the customer will say, oh, well, I've gained weight, and then my boss will say, you need to go talk to Lynn. She lost a lot of weight, and then before you know it, there I am, having an I lost the gain conversation at work with someone. So, I think if you work somewhere and you tell your employer, look, I need to be able to, have this work, I think they will. Up your weight or whatever. And if they won't, they won't do it, then be creative. Get your water bottle and start pumping your water bottle, do what you can do. But yeah, but the and I don't want to, oh well, as long as I sit at home and pump, I'm doing good, and I don't have to go to the gym. Negative. I lose my crap if I don't go to the gym, and there's days where like I don't get to the gym when I don't get there on time on my schedule, and like at 8 on the way there, I feel crappy and I don't want to work out. I don't do that. And when I work out with some of the guys, they push me so hard that I want to vomit. And then come back out and say, all right, and I'll cry. I'll get so mad and I'll cry. And then I'm like, wait a minute. You're 20-something. I'm 50-something. I'm keeping up with your butt. I ain't crying no more. Let's go. Come on, bring it on, And then I'll start working out, and then I feel good. And I don't care about those, pretty girls that are in the gym anymore because I'm there doing it for me. I'm doing it for the right reasons. And one day, and this will be my last story because I would love to stay on the phone with you all day and talk to you, let my listeners hear this. But one day I was at the gym and I forgot my little ID badge. And so I gave them my last name, and then the guy behind the desk proceeds to embarrass and humiliate me in front of everybody, well, the 2 people that were there, but that was everybody, and said, what is your date of birth? Well, 2 questions I never told the truth about in my life was my weight and my age. And I was like, I said, just look up my last name, how many Anoa'is are in the computer, And so there was a young girl and her boyfriend standing there, and I said, my age. And then the guy looks and he goes, oh, I found you. And the girl goes, oh, you're the same age as my mother. And I looked at her, and this girl has never spoken to me in the gym. She's a real cute, hot little thing. And I'm thinking to myself, great, now I remind you, of her mother. And she goes, you are in such better shape than my mother. I would never expect you to be that age. And then I said, wow, I feel pretty good on myself. So, moral of that is don't be ashamed of, what your weight is, what your age is, what your current situation is. You can't change your age, but you can change how you live your life.
Right.
And if you do that and you live for you and you live for the health, not for, I want to compete with this person or I want to look good for that person, who cares? Age is just a number and it's not even real. Who created time and age? Not me.
Right.
It's not real. So in closing, feel good, look good about yourself the way that you need to and not what people expect from you. And if you need a little motivation, follow me. Just to Gain is my hashtag. My name, Lynn Anoa'i. Look me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I just got a YouTube channel. I'm still learning how to use all this media stuff. But, I'm there. I'm there to help. I'm there to support. I'm there to motivate. And you, Mike, I am very proud of you because I watch you too. And I see you in the gym, and I see you in the car, and I see you out there doing your thing. And you can't tell me you don't feel good.
No, I do. Sometimes I gotta just stop, like you're saying, go stop and smell the roses. I gotta stop. Like, wait a minute, look at myself. Oh, hey, there is a change there, and not only do I see it, I feel it. Especially in the morning when I wake up, and you're brushing my teeth, and you just stop. Like, oh wow, again, I'm feeling it physically as well as emotionally and mentally. And I don't brag much. Anybody who knows me, I don't do that, show off or whatnot. But I'm going from trying to just do it because that's becoming my everyday routine. After dinner, sometimes before it, and just do something at home when I'm home. And the days when I'm able to, sneak away for a couple hours or so, I hit the gym and I do my routine there, depending on which part of the body I'm working out. And still have some time to sit down and catch my breath, and then there I go again, an hour or so later doing something. And I kind of have to stop for a minute. It's like, okay, I'm 41 and I'm seeing others how successful in life they are, and it's not out of jealousy, but how more or less started not too long ago. They're about my age, and it almost seems like as if they accomplished so much in a short amount of time. Like, no, they just started, and one day after another, it just seems like they're working out of the garage, and the next thing you know, they got an office with a view of the ocean kind of thing, and they're kayaking or fishing the next weekend. Things I never done that I would like to do, but I don't want to stop myself and compare my life to theirs, because maybe that's not going to be for me at all, but it'll be nice to do someday. But right now I'm just focusing on my life and my career. So maybe I'll get there, maybe I won't, or maybe just it wasn't meant to be. But I'm not going to stop and sit in the corner, face the wall, and cry about it. Like, why didn't it happen? No, that's just not for me. And
Absolutely.
and I could be okay with that. And that's me now.
Good. That's a great attitude. Yes, and I am proud of you, because it's not easy to get up every day and take care of yourself. But you're doing a great job. You look fantastic, and I know you feel good. And I thank you so much for having me today. And I would love to come back in the future. But I thank you so much. And I hope that, my story and your story really touches that somebody that's out there that needed to hear it today. Yeah. And I just hope that we can spread this to others and let them know. I have stuff coming up in the future. I'm going to do close in September. I want to do a health fair here in Mineola, Florida. I want to continue the walking club. I'm working with some clients to help them get their life on track. And, I have people that message me every day privately. Please tell me what to eat. Post your outfits so we can see how we should be dressing at your age, and, things like that. and I just feel like I'm so blessed and so grateful that people are coming to me for motivation and for health tips. And I'm here, and I'm more than happy to answer questions. And I thank you for having me, and I thank you guys out there for listening, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Lynn. Thank you for coming on and sharing your stories. And the journey continues, as I mentioned before. And you and your family have been really good to me the past year or so. And I have no words for it. I'm speechless now, trying to find them to know and tell you, how much I appreciate of you and your family have been for me. But definitely look forward to the future for catching up with Lynn. I guess we can call that episode. And
I'm happy to do it. And please come around to us. Come to the training center, Mike. Come to the WXW. Tonight, I'm kind of rushing because tonight Vale's doing an art show here at the Baltimore Training Center, and so we're getting ready for that. So, follow us, be part of us, and we love our fans, we love our followers, we love the people that need the support from us, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, I will definitely put the sites where we can follow Lynn Anoai and her Lost to Gain sites as well, all over social media, in the description. But again, thank you very much for joining me and sharing your stories. And for everyone, till next time, be good and behave and be healthy.
That's it. Be healthy. And I lost to gain, and I can show you how. I lost to gain, and you can too.